At the start of the movie, we see a man named Richkin who is trying to escape from the cube. When he comes in a room, he is sprayed with liquid in one of the cubes. He gets scared but later realizes that the liquid is only water and starts drinking it. Suddenly, when he rubs the back of his hand, he realizes that his body is disintegrating. The liquid is some type of acid, which melts his skin and he dies. Two employees named Eric and Dodd who are managing the cube are watching this on a screen. It looks like they are the only two workers here. Eric is shown to be sketching a portrait of Dodd in the form of a superhero called Chessman. Eric asks Dodd about their colleague Chickless, who is absent today. Dodd says Chickless will be back this week and is out on vacation. Dodd is playing chess with a chessboard in front of him with Eric. Eric calls the moves and wins the game without looking at the chessboard. He asks Dodd about their other colleague Owen. Dodd says Owen is sick, but Eric does not believe him. Eric says he heard some noise coming from Owen's room at night. Suddenly they hear the lift coming from upstairs, which has their food. Their food is in form of capsules and they both swallow it. They have also received an order which asks them to record the dream of a subject, Cassandra Rains. They use a device to see Cassandra's dreams in which they see how she was captured. She was walking in forest with her daughter Anna, where she was captured by soldiers who had a tattoo on their forehead. Then, she was brought to a lab where a chip was put in her brain. After seeing her dream, Eric and Dodd realize they don't seem to recall their past also. Cassandra wakes in the cube and has no memory of her past life. She remembers having a daughter but can't remember her name and decides to explore the cube. When entering one of the rooms, she is pulled down by some person. Cassandra meets other occupants in the room and is surprised to see them. Cassandra sees that one occupant named Haskell has a tattoo on his forehead, like the soldier that captured her. However, Haskell, like everyone else, has no recollection of his former life. She asks the other people about her daughter, but they don't seem to recall. Cassandra is told about the traps in this place by a person named Meyerhold, who has lost his fingers here. Cassandra tells she remembers only being captured in forest and nothing else. Haskell says they have a plan to keep moving in one direction till they find the edge. One person named Bartok says they have come up with a method using shoes to check for traps. Bartok enters a new room after finding it safe with his shoe. Suddenly a trap activates which ties Bartok with multiple strings and kills him. Eric is seeing Cassandra and feels attracted towards her and feels he has seen her before. Eric tells Dodd he will show him 3 ways to beat him in chess if he answers his one question. After showing how to win, Eric asks Dodd if he knows about the secret exit in cube which leads directly outside. Dodd says he does not know anything about this and warns him that they should not talk about such things. Eric says Chickless knew about this and maybe that is why he is absent today. He says they should watch their backs or they might one day wake up in cube, but Dodd doesn't agree with him. The participants are upset about Bartok's death and still trying to figure out a way to get out of room. Meyerhold sees some random letters like C, I, A written on door and informs all. Everyone decides to check other doors and find more random letters written on them. Cassandra says this is a puzzle which they need to solve to get out of here. She takes a hairpin and uses her shirt to write the letters using some shoe polish. Eric has drawn a painting of Cassandra with her daughter and is impressed how she figured out that letters mean something. Eric feels Cassandra can escape the cube once it resets to 0 position. Dodd reminds him that once in reset position, the cube is swept clean and everybody is killed and hence there is no escape. Eric asks Dodd if he feels guilty doing this to others, but Dodd says it's his job. Haskell has found that the letters written are separated by commas and calls Cassandra to see them. Cassandra figures out that each letter represents their number in 26 alphabets like C is 3, B is 2, and so on. Meyerhold says these numbers could represent coordinates like a map. He says since alphabet has 26 letters, only there are limited combinations possible. They could be only 26 rooms away from the edge. They start testing this theory and find some rooms with traps. While going through Cassandra's file, Eric finds her consent form missing. He tells Dodd about this, and he realizes that he saw Cassandra's picture in newspaper. Dodd tells him that the participants are not innocent people and they were facing a death sentence. They were given a choice to go in the cube with their memory wiped or be put to death. Eric says since Cassandra's form is missing, they should inform the people upstairs. Dodd does not agree with him and tells him to make the call. Just when he is about to make a call to the superiors, the phone rings. They are instructed to perform the exit procedure for a subject who has reached the exit of the cube and is facing his final challenge. Since the procedure has to be done by 2 people, Eric blackmails Dodd. He says that after the procedure is done, Dodd has to inform upstairs about the consent form. Dodd agrees and they begin the exit procedure. See Owen, one of their former colleagues. Owen enters a white room and is tied to chains. During the exit procedure, Owen is asked his name and a final question if he believes in God. Owen answers no and is immediately incinerated and is killed. Eric is shocked and argues with Dodd over the fate of Owen. He asks Dodd what happens if someone answers yes, but Dodd says no one has done that yet. Dodd asks Eric to send the message upstairs about exit procedure being completed. Eric realizes the cube is inhumane and decides to enter the cube to help Cassandra escape. He uses the lift and pushes the down button. Dodd is unable to stop him. The lift rapidly moves down and Eric finds the entrance of the cube. He enters the cube and starts searching for Cassandra. Dodd is angry on Eric, but suddenly hears the lift coming. He sees Jax, one of the cube's supervisors, and 2 of his analysts come to the control room to stop Eric. One of the analysts uses technology and the keyboards transform into advanced systems. They start looking for Eric and Jax orders Dodd to begin the needle procedure. Eric is able to find which rooms have traps based on the letter patterns. One of the participants enter the room, but before others could enter, the room shifts and she gets separated. Dodd is one who has shifted her room and injures her with a needle. Cassandra and others are looking for their missing teammate and find a room with a body in it. Haskell decides to use the body's shoe for testing rooms, but suddenly gets a headache. Cassandra tells him that he might be getting headaches because of the chip installed in his head. Meyerhold is able to find the room with their missing teammate and decides to go check on her. While checking on her, he finds that her body is rotting and she attacks Meyerhold. He pushed her and she dies, but scratches him on his forearm. Haskell asks Meyerhold to show his arm and they realize he is also infected. Haskell tells Cassandra they should abandon Meyerhold and proceed ahead. Cassandra does not agree to this, but sees that Meyerhold's face is getting infected. Meyerhold offers to test all rooms on his own if they allow him stay with them, and they agree. While checking a new room down, they find only clothes of people in it. Haskell takes this opportunity and pushes Meyerhold down to get rid of him. Cassandra is angry on him, but is unable to open the door and save Meyerhold. Inside Meyerhold's room, the traps activate and produces a sonic sound which blows up Meyerhold and kills him. Cassandra sees this and blames Haskell for this. Eric has found them and informs nothing could be done since Meyerhold was infected with a flesh-eating virus. Dodd informs Jax about this, and they see Eric tells everyone about the cube and how they are using it to experiment on people. Eric says he only worked in a small department and says the participants' mind have been erased. He also tells them that they all are dangerous prisoners and sent here on their own choice. Cassandra asks him about her daughter and Eric shares his picture which he drew based on her dreams. Cassandra gets angry on him, but Eric says he is here to help them escape. He says there are only 25 rooms in here and there is one secret exit which they must find. Eric asks them to tell him the letter on the door, but Jax decides to stop them. He orders his men to burn the letters on the door with an acid. Jax decides to surround Eric's room with multiple rooms which have traps in them. Soon Eric finds they are surrounded with traps and have nowhere to escape now. Jax gets a call from upstairs to begin the reset procedure and kill everyone in Cube. They start the procedure and everyone in the cube sees some electricity. Suddenly the procedure stops after getting a connection failure screen. We see that Dodd has cut the wires and is helping his friend Eric. The cube goes in reset mode and all doors open. Eric realizes that now the cube will do a clean sweep and kill everyone. Eric says they need to go to room A, Z as it will move close to exit on reset. Jax finds Dodd destroying more wires and kills him. Jax tells his men to activate the chip in Haskell since only 5 minutes are left. The chip is activated in Haskell with a command to kill all, and now he has super strength. Haskell attacks Eric and Cassandra, but they both work together and defeat Haskell. They escape from there and arrive in a room where Eric finds his other colleague Chickless, who is also dead. The cube moves and arrives at the exit where they find the exit in water. Suddenly Haskell comes and tries to stop them, but Cassandra pushes him in a trap. Eric and Cassandra jump in the water and escape while Haskell is killed in reset. They come out in a jungle where soldiers are waiting for them and attack them. Eric is shot by a dart and passes out, but Cassandra manages to escape. Eric wakes up in a surgery room and meets Jax, who tells Eric had been found guilty of high treason and sabotage against country and God. He has been sentenced to 2 lifetimes and will be implanted with a brain microchip. Jax says Eric has already been convicted in a trial and is a criminal like others. Jax shows him his consent form and says he had been put in the cube as an observer to watch other participants. Eric dreams about Cassandra reuniting with her daughter and praising Eric as a superhero. Eric is then given a lobotomy to eliminate his intelligence. In the final scene, Eric is shown inside the cube with several others victims of the government to test out the cube. Eric's behavior is quite similar to Kazan, whom we saw in Cube Part 1.